All right. Hello, hello, hello. It's your old pal, Lowball Norm, back once again to address the latest controversy. I mean, I don't even know what the big deal is. I mean, that's the reason for the title over here. What's wrong with you people? What's wrong with you people? Why did this blow up on Twitter? Why have I been awoken from my off-season slumber to comment on this complete non-issue? All right? And I wasn't gonna do this tonight. Okay, I was gonna do this. I was gonna film this. I was gonna film this tomorrow. I was gonna film this on Saturday. All right, because I've been growing up a beard, and I'm going tomorrow for a nice trim. All right, so we're gonna go more for distinguished silver fox instead of homeless mall Santa. Okay, so I thought I'll wait until that's done. But I'm like, wait, I don't need to impress you people. Why do I need to impress you with my slick looking beard? All right, when you should already be impressed by the fact that I am a two-time world champion. All right. And speaking of two-time world champions, let's segue beautifully to Eric of the Schooners and the deal that was done. Now, here's the deal, in case you're for some reason not aware. Okay. Eric sends 30 million bucks to Dusty. Dusty sends back to Eric all of his picks from 2025 and a smattering of later round picks as well. Okay. Now, first of all, at its face, that's fine. That's a perfectly fine deal. That's perfectly reasonable deal. If you got 30 million lying around and you're not going to spend it on free agents, particularly if you don't need to make like a big, if you've got enough money that you can still get the free agents you want, you've got 30 million just going to be sitting around for a year. Why not spend it to get a bunch of picks, right? That's fine. And also, you have to remember that Eric also did a deal earlier this week with, I believe, the Steelhawks, where he sent like a third this year and a second next year to get like $28.5 million. So really, when you combine the two together, he's spending a couple million bucks, and a third this year and a second next year to get all Dusty's picks in 2025, and then those other picks as well. Perfectly reasonable. Perfectly reasonable. I got no problem with the deal at all. Totally fine. I think the conversation that's been going on Twitter, as near as I can tell, is that people feel that I not that Dusty got ripped off, because I don't think it's an unfair deal by any stretch of the imagination. I think it's perfectly fine. Okay, but that had the Aces advertised that they were shopping these picks, that they could have gotten more. Right? I could list five of you crazy bastards off the top of my head that would have given him more for these picks. Do you know what I mean? So he absolutely could have made more money if he had shopped it around. Okay. But here's the thing, guys. First of all, I suspect this was something that Eric pitched to the Aces as opposed to the other way around. I could be wrong, and they can confirm this one way or the other. But I suspect this was a deal that was instigated by Eric. Okay, so Dusty probably wasn't sitting around thinking, I'm going to auction off my 2025 picks. So let's do a Twitter poll and see how much people would pay, or let's start an auction going and blah 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 blah. It probably was. He was sitting around his house. He checks his phone. He gets an email from Eric. Eric says, "Hey, I'll give you 30 million if you give me all this." And he's like, "I could use 30 million. I don't care about my 2025 picks." Sure, resend, done. And then he moves on with his life. Okay, people forget. Okay, Dusty's out there. He's got a family, man. He's got some kids. He's got a job. He's a busy man. All right. He hasn't got time all the time to be, taking a look at every single asset he has and then putting it out there for everybody to start a bidding war. Right. From his perspective, there is a certain real world value to not having to do that. Right? Because if he had posted on Twitter saying all my 2025 picks are available, what would have happened? He would have gotten barraged with, a dozen GMs offering him money for those picks, and then he'd have to see who the highest pick is, and then you'd have to contact the other GMs and say, no, this one is higher. Will you go any higher? And handle all these different negotiations at the same time until finally someone maxes out at the highest bid, and then he does it. Right? But that takes time. That's a bother. I suspect, and again, this is pure conjecture on my part, but I suspect Dusty took a look and said, I need $30 million, and I don't care about these picks. It's done. Finished. Easy. Easy. He probably knows himself he could have got more if he really shopped it around, but he doesn't care. Right? He doesn't care. It's fine. Just because I am a very loud and vocal proponent of trying to maximize value, it doesn't mean that everybody subscribes to it. Half the time I feel like I'm the only person in the league that subscribes to it. Honestly, I really do. Okay? So ultimately, the issue isn't with Dusty, right? Could the Aces have gotten more? Yes. Are they obligated to try and maximize their value every time? No. They got what they needed from it, and it's fine. They didn't make their team immediately. Their team is no worse now. I mean, they might be worse in 2025 because they're missing all those picks, but between now and then, who knows, right? So it's fine. It's fine. The issue is that the lesson here, everyone crying about the fact that they didn't have a chance to bid on those picks, is an idiot. I'm sorry, you're a complete idiot. There should be no complaints about that. Okay. I have been in this league for like 20 years, every single year almost. I mean, I'm not, it feels like every single year. Dusty blows all of his cash, and then in the offseason, he's either like deep in the hole or just barely treading water financially, and he needs to make a big move to bring in a ton of cash. He does this almost literally every offseason. So if you had money and wanted picks and you didn't ring up the Aces, you're an idiot. Just that simple. Just that simple. There's no, why would you not assume? He'd be the first person on my speed dial if that was the kind of deal that I was looking to do. Right? Who did that? Eric did that. Why? Because Eric's smart. Eric's smart. That's why you guys don't like Eric, because Eric is smarter than the rest of us. All right? We're out here playing checkers. He's playing chess, baby. Okay? He got up early. He's doing the work. He's putting out offers. He's been making deals all week. All right? Everyone hates trading with me. I never get any offers hardly. All right? And Eric even reached out to me to make an offer. Okay? So, like, you got to put in the legwork. If you're not doing so, you can't complain about the fact that the person didn't say that it was available. Listen, my team, I am not going for it this year. Okay? I am making a hard stance. Okay, I know I waffle on this every single year, but no, I am making a committed stance to not going for it this year. So that means there's a couple of guys that theoretically would be available. I've already gotten rid of Johnny Marchessault for picks, right? So I said that on Twitter, but it's not like, hey guys, Stamkos is available. Hey guys, Ekholm is available. Put in your offers, blah, 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 or whatever. Right? I'm not aggressively shopping anybody who might potentially be available. Should I? Probably, but I'm not. You know what I mean? Well, I guess technically I am now, but that wasn't really the intention. But I mean, the point is that there's a whole bunch of guys that might be available. Anybody's available for the right offer. So aside from that, but there may be guys that aren't necessarily being aggressively shopped in that way or aggressively advertised in that way. Not all GMs do that. Right? So it's fine. You have to take that initiative and go out and do it. And that's what Eric has done. So what's the controversy? Get off your, here's another GM who does that, okay? Eric got out early. He got out early. He's been being aggressive, making deals. Okay? The other two GMs that I would count in this, okay, would be Ryan, also very aggressive about making offers, and I would put Chris from the Steelhawks. Chris from the Steelhawks, not only is he early, he never stopped. Okay? He 24/7, 12 months out of the year, that guy is out there hustling. Okay? That's the kind of work you got to do if you want to make those good deals, if you want to make your team the way that you want to make it. That's what you have to do. Why is my team kind of stagnating? Because I'm lazy and bad at drafting. If I studied for a draft and got off my butt and started making some serious thoughts about how I was going to develop my team and make some hard decisions and make some definitive offers and make some aggressive plays, I would improve my team too. But, I could also power watch AP Bio for a week, right? These are life choices that you make, all right? So anyway, this is a complete no-brainer. A complete non-controversy. So I really don't know what everyone's. I mean, I'm just saying common sense. I'm not saying anything deep and profound here, I would think. I was going to make a video anyway because I was going to talk about the state of my team, but there really is nothing to talk about. There's really nothing to talk about. I'm not going for it. I haven't really got anybody worth trading. All of my guys are either at kind of the low end of their value, so I might as well hang on to them, or they're guys that are good, but why would I get rid of them? Right? Marchessault was kind of in that middle period. You know what I mean? So off he went. But you know, I got no goalies. Shea Theodore. Okay, I'm gonna take a little brief. I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna take a little brief stab. Here's my issue with. I'm so mad I can't even form my words about it. Shea Theodore got a 69 overall again. Again. Okay? The kid does nothing but put up points. Okay? He was what, fifth or sixth in the Norris votings this year? I mean, what more does the kid have to do? The problem is how the Raiders view offensive defensemen. They view offensive defensemen as being bad at defense, even if that's not necessarily the case. Like, Shea Theodore does not get a lot of penalty kill time. Okay, he is not a defensive specialist. I am not trying to argue that he is the second coming of Zdeno Chara here. Okay, he is not that guy. So I'm not expecting him. Like, I'm not mad that he hasn't got a 75 or an 80 defensive rating because he shouldn't. That's ridiculous. But should he have a 58 defensive rating? No, just because you're on an NHL team, just because you're not every defenseman is going to get on the penalty kill necessarily. Do you know what I mean? They want to save him for the power play because he's an offensive, but just because he's not playing a ton of penalty minutes doesn't mean he is automatically bad. His plus minus was fine. He blocks a couple of shots here and there. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he shouldn't. I'm not saying that he should be, like I said, I'm not saying he should be 75, but I mean, you can't give the kid a 65 defense or something. Like, he's playing big minutes, man, on an NHL team, you know? It's ludicrous. It's ludicrous. I would love to see the process of the people who do the re-rates because they're just absolutely absurd. But again, I don't complain too much about it. I mean, this year I think I got kind of screwed on a lot of the re-rates. I think they're a little overly harsh on on some of my guys. I mean, Shea Theodore is the most obvious example, but I could point out a couple of others that I think got dinged a little worse than they should have. But ultimately, listen, I mean, it's pot luck. You know what I mean? Half the ratings are fair, 25% are overrated, and 25% are underrated. It all balances out. Any particular year, you might be up a little bit or down a little bit, but overall, it's, I guess, fair enough. But it is frustrating when you get dinged that way. So anyway, so yeah, I mean, I'd have to, in order to be competitive, I'd have to get two goalies, like 4 or 5 defensemen, and some forward. It's like, forget it. It's not going to happen. That's absurd. It's not going to happen. You know what I mean? So I'm just going to tank this year. It's fine. Well, I'm not going to tank. I'll still do okay because I've still got some decent forwards, but I'm not going to be going for it. So, like I say, if anybody wants to make a deal or something like that, go ahead. But I listen. You guys know what trading with me is like. Okay, it's a test of endurance. It's a test of endurance. I don't know what I'm doing, and it's frustrating. And so if you can hang in there, you can get a good deal. I've made a bunch of bad deals. You guys know. All right. So if you want to be on the receiving end of that, you got to put in the work, like Eric is putting in the work. Okay. So don't get mad at the system for your own laziness. Own up to it, accept it, make it your brand, like yours truly. Okay. There's my advice. Goodbye.